The humid summer evening air clung to my skin as I pulled my gleaming black Rolls-Royce Spectre into the familiar suburban driveway outside Chicago. The engine's low purr faded into silence, leaving only the heavy weight of 3 years without a single word from my family. My parents stood motionless on the porch, their faces draining of color as they stared at the $250,000 car that screamed everything I had become without them. My name is Emily Harper. At 29, that single night rewrote the fragile thread connecting me to the people who raised me. But to truly feel the sharp satisfaction of their stunned silence, you have to understand what it meant to grow up as the child who was never planned, never celebrated, and never truly seen. In our modest 2-story home in a quiet Illinois suburb, I was the fourth and final arrival, an unexpected surprise that arrived long after my parents believed their family was complete. My older brother Ethan was the golden firstborn, the star quarterback whose every touchdown brought the house alive with cheers. Then came Lucas, the reliable second son, always buried in books, carrying the weight of academic expectations. My sister Olivia was the cherished daughter, the artistic soul who received endless praise for her drawings and performances. And then there was me, Emily the extra mouth, the one too many, the accident they never quite forgave. The favoritism wasn't whispered or subtle. It pressed down like gravity, constant and crushing. When Ethan needed new football gear, my mother turned shopping into an event, returning with crisp branded jerseys and cleats still smelling of the store. Lucas required a new computer for his advanced science projects. The latest model appeared without hesitation. Olivia's ballet classes or piano lessons, always funded, always encouraged with proud smiles and photo sessions. My needs met a different standard. Ethan's old jacket still looks fine on you, my mother would say when I asked for something new for school. The sleeves hung past my fingertips, and the fabric carried faint stains from years of wear. When Lucas upgraded his laptop, I inherited his ancient one, the keys sticking and screen flickering. Olivia's hand-me-down backpack became mine, frayed straps barely holding together. Those moments stung, but the real wound came from invisibility during my own small victories. At 15, I won first place in the regional science fair for a project on sustainable energy systems that took months of late nights and library research. I carried the blue ribbon and trophy home, heart racing with hope that this time would be different. My mother glanced up briefly from helping Olivia rehearse lines for the school play. "That's nice. Emily, could you set the table while I finish with your sister?" No calls to relatives. No framed photo on the wall. No proud dinner conversation. The trophy sat on my cluttered desk in the shared room, gathering dust while the house filled with banners celebrating Ethan's games and Olivia's art exhibits. By 16, the pattern crystallized. No one would lift me up. So, I learned to build my own ladder. I took a part-time job at the local grocery store after school, stocking shelves for minimum wage. Every paycheck represented quiet defiance. My first major purchase was a reliable used phone, not flashy, but functional, free from the cracked screen of Olivia's old one. When I brought it to dinner, my parents exchanged knowing looks across the table. "Look at Emily being so responsible," my father remarked, as if I weren't present. What they really meant was relief that I required less from them. Senior year brought the inevitable conversation. My parents sat me down in the living room, their expressions carefully rehearsed. "Emily, we've supported 3 kids through college already," my father explained. "The finances just aren't there for 4th round." They framed it as an unavoidable reality, not a deliberate choice. My mother added with forced cheer, "You're bright and determined. You'll find a way." Their confidence in my self-reliance felt like a dismissal. I had anticipated this. Savings from the grocery job padded a small emergency fund. I applied aggressively for scholarships, joined academic clubs, volunteered at the community food bank, and maintained near-perfect grades. The effort paid off with a substantial scholarship to the University of Illinois Business Program, but it covered only part of tuition, leaving room, board, books, and fees uncovered. Desperate but determined, I reached out to my father's sister, Aunt Rachel. She lived independently in a nearby town, childless by choice, and had built a successful career in corporate finance. Unlike my parents, she had always noticed me during family visits, offering quiet encouragement. My voice shook on the call as I explained the shortfall and promised repayment with interest. After a long pause, she replied softly, "Emily, I've seen how your parents treat you like an afterthought for years. I'll help. And don't rush to pay it back. Focus on your future." That support cracked something open inside me, the first unconditional family backing I had ever received. Excited, I rushed downstairs to share the news, only to find my parents in the driveway presenting Ethan with a shiny new sedan as a graduation gift. They beamed as he posed for photos. My announcement about securing my education fell on deaf ears. In a moment of bold desperation, I asked Ethan if I could have his older car for campus commutes. He laughed outright. "Sell it for apartment money? Why give it away?" My parents nodded in agreement. "Public transit builds character," my mother said. That night, alone in bed, the $20,000 gift to Ethan contrasted sharply with their indifference toward me, crystallizing my isolation. College became a grind of buses, late-night studying, and part-time coffee shop shifts. My manager recognized my drive and accommodated classes. While peers partied, I focused relentlessly on investment management coursework. Family visits home revealed deepening divides. Siblings received moving help, furniture, and ongoing support, while I remained the invisible fixture during gatherings. Graduation arrived with summa cum laude honors and a prestigious offer from a top investment bank in Chicago. My parents attended politely, but offered minimal congratulations. Weeks later, they asked me to move out, citing my maturity and independence. The double standard: my siblings had stayed longer, burned. But I complied, renting a tiny studio alone. The years that followed my departure carved deeper rifts. Invitations to holidays ceased entirely. Thanksgiving and Christmas passed with me eating microwave meals in my studio, while social media flooded with images of my siblings' joyful family gatherings. The exclusion carved a hollow ache, sharper than expected. One year, driven by lingering hope, I arrived unannounced with dessert. The dining room fell silent. My mother managed a flustered, "We didn't expect you." Conversation revolved around Ethan's promotion, Lucas's graduate studies, and Olivia's gallery features. Polite jabs at my simple life stung, but my parents offered no defense. I left early, vowing never to force entry again. Contact dwindled to nothing. I channeled pain into ambition. Promotions came swiftly at the firm. I repaid Aunt Rachel fully with interest and began building tangible success: a sleek downtown Chicago apartment overlooking the lake, European vacations, and eventually the Rolls-Royce Spectre, a symbol of autonomy purchased outright after years of disciplined saving and strategic investments. 3 years of silence shattered with my mother's abrupt call about a visit from distant Great-Aunt Margaret. "You must attend Saturday dinner. It's non-negotiable." The audacity after years of erasure ignited quiet resolve. I wouldn't go for reconciliation. I would go to witness their realization. Saturday arrived. I chose an elegant yet understated black dress that whispered luxury to the trained eye. Parking strategically nearby, I walked the final blocks, heart steady. The house buzzed with relatives. Great-Aunt Margaret, frail but sharp, presided at the head. My siblings and their partners filled seats, their modest vehicles lining the street. Dinner commenced with familiar praise for Ethan, Lucas, and Olivia. Subtle digs came my way, comments on my minimalist style or reliance on transit from years ago. I smiled through it, savoring the irony. When Great Aunt Margaret inquired about my work, the table hushed. I manage portfolios at a major investment bank in Chicago, I said evenly. Recognition dawned slowly, shock on my father's face. My mother's fork pausing midair. Confusion rippling among my siblings. The remainder of the meal shifted awkwardly. Questions about my career flowed from Great Aunt Margaret, genuine and impressed. My parents exchanged uneasy glances. As the evening wound down, I excused myself, prompting the entire group to escort me out, perhaps expecting to see me walk away. Instead, I approached the Rolls-Royce. The key fob chirped softly. I slid into the driver's seat, the leather enveloping me, and pulled forward. Rolling down the window, I met their stunned expressions. This? Just one of the perks, I remarked calmly before driving off. Their silhouettes shrinking in the mirror, mouths agape. Envy etched deep. The next morning brought a flood of calls and messages. My parents, Ethan, Lucas, Olivia, all suddenly eager to catch up and see my apartment. Voicemails gushed pride they had never shown. I ignored them, enjoying a solitary run and brunch, the weight of their absence lifting. Weeks passed with escalating desperation. Ethan sought investment advice. Olivia proposed sister trips. My parents left messages about missed family bonds. I deleted them all. One evening after work, I spotted my parents waiting beside my car in the parking garage. We moved to a nearby cafe. Over coffee, my mother launched into apologies and pride in my independence. Then the pivot, Ethan's upcoming proposal. Olivia's long-term relationship likely heading toward engagement. Weddings demanded resources. Since you're doing so well, perhaps you could contribute. To reconnect. I sat motionless, processing the request. Laughter escaped before I could contain it. Deep. Genuine. Drawing stares from nearby tables. Let me clarify, I said evenly. You ignored my achievements, denied support that flowed freely to the others, excluded me for years, and now want me to fund weddings to buy back into the family fold. My father shifted uncomfortably. It's not like that. Emily, we've always believed in you. The words rang hollow against decades of evidence. I recounted specifics, the hand-me-downs while new gifts appeared for siblings, the ignored science fair win, the college denial paired with Ethan's car, the uninvited holidays, the mocking at the forced dinner. Tears welled in my mother's eyes. We made mistakes. We can change. But the pattern revealed deeper truth. They had never seen me as worthy until my bank account proved otherwise. I stood, gathering my things. You can't rewrite history because it's convenient now. I've spent my life proving my value to people who withheld love. I'm finished chasing it. Walking out, I felt no regret, only release. People sometimes ask if I miss family. The honest answer is no. You cannot mourn what was never genuinely given. My parents viewed me alternately as burden or resource, never as daughter deserving equal investment. Today, at 29, I thrive in my Lakeview apartment. The Rolls-Royce sits securely in my building's garage. Colleagues and chosen friends value me for character, not utility. Success tastes sweeter untainted by obligation. The best response to doubt isn't vengeance alone. It's constructing a fulfilling life and permitting skeptics to observe from afar. Sometimes the family you deliberately choose surpasses the one assigned by birth.